Welcome to another session of Endless Legend. Last time we left off, we had, I believe, unresolved business here. Or not. For some reason I thought there was some sort of battle that we still had to finish, but I think we finished that in the last episode. So we're busy besieging this city, which has no protection, but it has high amount of fortification. We also want to besiege this city. I'm not sure how high the industry output of the city is, but it serves as a useful bridgehead to get to other cities in this region. And I think we want to knock it out on our way to those cities and keep our armies relatively close to each other. So that's what we're going to try and do here. Now here it's important to sort of mash the movement button. Yeah, playing as the Cultists on Endless, I don't think we can realistically hope to get the science victory. What we can hope to do is pick up this wonder. So the wonder victory is basically, oh, that's interesting. They're about to put the masks on. That means they'll be converted. So the wonder victory is achieved by building this Temple of the Earth's Core. And we're about to fight that big fight there. You can also think about fighting this big fight over here. Yeah. Now the wonder victory we can get by getting the Temple of the Earth's Core. For that we need 40 Hyperium and 40 Mithrite. I guess we might as well pick up this Hyperium in advance. I think wonder victory is something we can realistically go for. And I think I'll pick up Right of Way just because there's another faction nearby. So I feel like Wonder Victory, we can get it in 13 turns. That's not too bad. We might be, as long as we can get up the necessary Mithrite, we might be able to race another faction that is going for the Science Victory, which Dark Blue currently is. Just want to keep this army here in case we ever lose our infiltrators for these regions. It's really important that we keep infiltrators on cities, and especially that we keep them on cities where which we're unlikely to conquer, because we need to keep an infiltrator on a city for a reasonably long time to make it constantly become stronger. Now, which fight is going to be harder? I guess we're going to go for this fight first. This is a more important engagement. At this point in the game, it really comes down to whether we can slow blue enough. If we can slow other blue down enough that we can win the game before they win the game, basically. Unfortunately, the game is still pretty close, which means it's still pretty exciting. I mean, obviously, I'd like to win really easily all the time. That's kind of boring. Yeah? Need to spice things up in life sometimes. Move like this. Alright, now we want to make sure that we can attack these archer units if at all possible. Now, we'll make sure that we have the units which can attack first, just deal with these archers before they really get much value. Here, here, and here. Now these units at the back can just move a bit forward and shoot down this cavalry unit or whatever that is. I don't know if I'm focus firing properly, probably not. The problem is, if you get a critical and then the focus fire connects, then in a way you're losing out on damage. But it looks like the fact that we got to attack first meant we were able to deal with the size of blow to them first. Kind of weird the way archery fire works. They don't immediately fire back, meaning that archers can effectively pick off other archers before they get to attack, and in a sense kill them for free if they have more initiative. So I'm happy we have more initiative, basically. We only lost our hero, which is not the end of the world because our hero quickly respawns. And in the meantime, we can just completely murder these titans here. Unfortunately for them. Yep. It seems like we're just having no problems at all, like removing these Titans from the battlefield. Really, the weakness of having units that can't interact very well. Although this time they had a lot of archers, but they just didn't have enough initiative. It looks like these units are weaker for some reason, possibly because they can't keep the required boosters active. I know a little bit well, this is the Bizarri are basically a reskin for the Volters, right? And I don't know much about the Volters, except for the fact that they... Well, I do know a bit about them. I mean, the main thing is that they have this Techno-Lover perk, which makes them better when they have equipment with the same resource, the Holy Resource, which makes me wonder if they have no Holy Resource, and that's why they're doing a lot worse, or it's because their equipment is subpar or something. It's possible the Empire is taxed economically at this point and they don't have resources for optimal armies, or that we've crushed all their optimal armies. Because I feel like that fight was really easy. Like, for effectively no damage, we've wiped out so many armies of theirs, so... It's kind of what you need to be able to do in Endless again. If you're not getting favorable fights, you're not going to win wars because you always have less resources than the AI. Yeah, these Archer armies are obscene. And hopefully obscene enough for us to... actually, they actually get to get a hit in now because they're using cavalry. Cavalry is reasonable against archer units. Although not reasonable enough to turn the tide of battle here. So as it turns out, these armies are insane, and we can still push forward into Dark Blue's territory. Something we really have to do because they've gotten 2 technologies for their the science victory, which means if we just sit back passively and don't do anything or not proactive enough, we're going to lose them long term. So great, we can pick up another skill, I think, like Staggered Blows. That's a significant attack bonus. So I'm very happy to have here. And I think we just attack them here. Yeah. Just crush this army. And destroy that, crush that settlement as well. So we want to make sure our armies are moving towards that. Fortunately we have our ally, Red, in between Dark Blue and us, so I don't think we have to worry about our one city being under attack anytime soon. I wish we could place watchtowers in random locations. Well, we can actually. I mean, I wish we could place watchtowers in locations near our converted regions, just to make sure we never get surprised. I guess I'm just going to place watchtowers there. They're a relatively small investment. Wait, I don't want to play by Queen's God. I want to save everything to make sure I can stop holding this wonder. But then again, I feel like the main thing that could sort of go wrong here is us having... What was I going to say? The main thing that could sort of go wrong is us being too ambitious, I guess, and... Wait, this is weird. Why are armies over there? Oh, damn it. They're being blocked up by the city. That's frustrating. We can't actually deploy the right amount of units here. Okay, let's just move our hero down here. Let's move our armies into the forest tiles. Where they can at least... Yeah, we're losing out on reinforcement points, basically, there. What happened is that we had a bunch of army units not enter the battlefield at the right time because of the way the terrain works, which is annoying, because it means we're unfairly at a disadvantage. Okay, we can pick up that. Fortunately, our hero skill can compensate for that a little bit, but not too much. Let's move this up, shoot this. I do have to make sure I shoot all of those archers before they can do any damage for my forces. I'm more worried about the archers than the Titans here, because the Titans can easily go overrun. Or even tank, their damage output is not phenomenal. It looks like, despite that weird start, we're doing pretty okay here. This will take one hit from this Titan here, but it's not the end of the world. bounce this to the side. Move this to the side. Move here, move here. Yeah, I don't know if I have to focus fire, but I think it's going to be fine from here. Yeah, so despite that funky start, the strength of our armies is still superior to theirs. We should be able to pull through here. Again, like our archer units, because of that Talisman of the Unspoken, they're extremely tanky. This nameless card is great. I love this army composition. It's just like the most strategically intensive thing ever. Like, I'm just going to build the same unit over and over again. And that's it. Yeah, okay, our hero gets wrecked, but once again, that is never a catastrophe. Unless, of course, the rest of your army dies, so you have no rest of your army. I actually lost the Kapaku hero in my last playthrough, rather embarrassingly, because I didn't understand that different... if all units of the hero's army die, and the hero dies for real. Although buying back heroes is not too bad. Losing them for 20 turns is bad. But unfortunately in that playthrough I was able to spend like 200 something dust. Without a huge issue. Going to get even more attack to improve our damage output even more. And they have no army guardian, so next turn we will crush this place. In a very friendly way. I should have probably... Well, picking up pillage would have been nice to get extra mithrite. Now if I should have done it. Would have been cool if. Sort of moment. I need to see that I can actually get enough mithrite for my plans to come to fruition. I say as an evil person. This is their capital. And that's probably a location we want to capture as soon as possible. Or at least put pressure on. They have a lot of units in that place. Holy crap. Okay, we've got a lot of pearls aplenty. I think we have almost everything we need for this hero, actually. Like, for anything we can get that conceivably could improve our hero as a governor. Like, what is it even for us to pick up at this point? More fortification points? I mean, I guess. Okay. So, we can try and win by completing the Wonder Quest. Or the Victory Quest. But I think that will distract us from our aim of disrupting Dark Blue and winning the game by a conquest. So I'm going to be a spoil sport and ignore that for now. I mean, in future I'll try and be more fun. Let's try and invade this place. We'll move these two armies down here next. Yeah, we still have a solid army there. Let's see if we can get the required mithrite. It seems like there's not enough mithrite on the market, sadly. So it doesn't actually look like we can get the nameless... Sorry, like we can get the victory. What we can get is an obscene amount of industry stockpiles, as usual. And science stockpiles. Although these are starting to have diminishing returns. Not just because there are more clicks required to get anything valuable out of them, but because an extra 1600 science per turn is not as good as it sounds, to be honest. At this point in the game, for instance, if we wanted to pick up a difference engine, it would take us 30 turns regardless, so that's great. I guess we can think about getting the science quest. Sorry, the victory quest. As long as we feel like we're in control, it might be a good way to round out the game. Just move over here. I want to make sure I pick up the city, basically. Not very much, but like at the same time, I can just pop over there for the victory, I guess. I wonder if I could have gotten pillage. Pillage being the ability or research that lets you unlock the ability to just sap resources from enemy buildings. It's pretty neat. You start with that with the Forgotten, the espionage faction, and also the sworn enemies of the Volters. Because basically, as we'll see if we play the Forgotten at any point, the Volters were massive dicks to the Forgotten, left them out in the cold to die. And thusly they kind of maybe bear a grudge a bit. Who can say? Probably not, right? That means that petty. Let's get the extra food. Food stockpiles are things that still do matter, because building up food is actually quite difficult in this game. I could just get the Mythrite. I need for the... looks like Mythrite is really not on the market though, sadly. Maybe my ally will be willing to trade Mythrite with me. We eliminated acquaintance, sorry dude. I know you liked player X, whatever. I just need 30 of this stuff. Let's see what they'll trade for it. Wait, go down. Go down faster. Okay. Now, research agreement, they probably don't want that. Vision and map embargo, map exchange. We can just give them high tier specialized science until they... Because I don't want them to have extra science, I don't want them to win randomly. Does depositories also something I don't want them to have? Yeah, and they'll just give me the Mythrite I need to get the victory first. Wait. Okay, they accepted it. They were just offering us a weird trade. I was like, are you hating on my proposal? By the way, these are all the other empires which bit the dust. So, may have been responsible for one of those. I'll never say you did it. And now, let's look. We can actually pick up this Temple of the Earth's Core in 9 turns. So in 9 turns we can win. If in the process we want to go bankrupt. So, maybe we want to instead go something like this, and win in 10 turns. Or 11. No, 11 is too much. Let's win in 10 turns. You can win the game at the small cost of bankruptcy. The problem with bankruptcy is at some point they start refunding your stuff. Well, I mean, not refunding, but like, you know, you have to pay, sacrifice things to make your empire dust solvent again. So, yeah, that's not great. I want to avoid that if at all possible. I also want to get a little bit of dust per turn so I can buy some resources to make more units. I think we probably slowed down our opponents enough that a 10-turn victory with Temple of the Earth's Core will be good enough to win the game. And Spy was partially wounded. Alright, we've decreased their science again. Just trying to make sure that they never even dream of getting that science victory. Well, I guess they could dream of it. Whatever. That makes sense. They're not getting the science victory in the story. I'm just gonna move these nameless God's Falls in the middle, I think. I don't... sadly, when you have multiple armies and one of them was weaker, they can choose which is... Wait, what happened? Oh, I've started building the Temple of the Earth's Core, so everyone knows that I'm close to winning the game. Cool. What are they saying? They want a truce for me giving them Arena of Champions. And no, screw you. I'm winning. I'm not willing to accept the truce. Got pulls of plenty again. That's nice. Definitely want Titan bones. Yeah. To make sure I don't lose, I almost want to retreat this army back all the way here. It's potentially a bit conservative, but I just don't want to. I want to make sure that I can't possibly lose this game, basically. And I think the best way to do that is just to make sure that my main city is defended for these next 9 turns, while I pick up the required research to win the game. As you can see, 32 turns to pick up the scientific victory research. I don't think scientific victory is viable for this faction. It looks like it would take us far too long to build up the required science, and stockpiles can only get you so far. Stockpiles are not good enough to reach the final tier of science on their own. Stockpiles are really good. We've made a lot of progress on the backs of stockpiles getting up to this point. I don't know how stockpiles can have backs. But anyway, we made a lot of progress with the help of stockpiles. And we wouldn't have made it this far without them. But at the same time, they're not good for actually closing out the game with scientific victory. They're helpful towards getting there, but they're not going to produce enough science in there, and you really need a powerful enough science economy that through your cities, etc. And fortunately, by wrecking their cities, we're going to have enough industry stockpiles to help us get this Temple of the Earth's core, which is really a relatively easy way to win, as long as we weren't negligent about picking up our faction quests. And this time I did a good job of picking those up. The last playthrough, with the Kapaku, I did a bad job about doing that. And that's on me. Although we won that playthrough anyway, it doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that this Nameless God army gets all the way back home. The nice thing about besieging is that you cut off their forces. I wish the Alai would attack them more. No. I like that. The members of the Alliance turn on each other like rabid dogs. Rabid dogs. Let's get commercial agreement. Map research agreement. Nah, actually not even worth it for us. Be quite careful of keeping armies near our home regions. We can play it, very risky, but we really don't want to. This game is convinced us anything is that cultists can win. The real lesson here is that you should always believe. Believe in the cult. They have an army here. I'm so happy I pulled this army back now. Sign a truce. You're kidding me. Never surrender. Never give in. I think we're fine just belonging in the game at this point, if I want to. What is this? Oh, just Wizzy again. You only need one of these. In Endless Space 2, you need multiple buildings to get a wonder victory, I think. You need 3 obelisks of all space time, depending on map size, obviously. But that's with the map size I'm used to, that's the number. It looks like they have a mostly Titan army, which is great because Titans are slow. Lumbering creatures. Let's fight the siege of the city. We're basically playing for all the marbles here. Losing this battle, however unlikely that is, will result in immediate catastrophe. Winning this battle probably means we win the game. Now, this unit is going to quickly get cut down by our guards. This hero is not well equipped for combat. Probably something I could change. I almost feel like I want to pull back all of our armies now, actually. The question is, can they win with science in the meantime? The answer is probably not, but the other question is, do we want to risk that? I wouldn't have engaged this army if I didn't feel quite confident that I could beat them. Engage. I mean, if engage makes you think about a Terran battlecruiser, then you and I are like third references. Cool. As usual, similar strategy. Just keep our nameless guards back. Have them pile a lot of damage onto these immobile titans and really exploit their lack of range. And it doesn't really matter how many hits they can soak, or as long as it's not infinite, right? They will eventually fall because they just don't have enough range to compete with us, honestly. And now we get the militia boys to shank them with their sticks. Even better. Oh, that militia actually did a ton of damage. I'm impressed. So did that hero. No, we have to remember to keep our guards focus firing, more or less. Speaking of which... yeah, let's do it like that. At some point we should just move all our armies back to defend our main city while we get the wonder victory. The question is, have we've probably put blue far enough behind that they can't get the science victory. But it obviously would be great if we could just crush them and be super safe. Or feel super secure that they're never going to win. It's really good that I moved this army back, otherwise I would have been in a little bit of trouble. Although with the fortifications, we probably could have helped them. Especially since they don't have any ranged armies, so we could have retreated our army, used the fortifications to tank, and in that way survive this assault. What is this? Oh, it's from one of the converted villages. I think we're producing a lot of units from this converted villages. Units which I don't want because they're garbage. But at this point in the game, losing dust from those villages and units is not the end of the world. Yeah, like I said, this is just a cleanup phase at this point. It really has helped us in this war that Blue's armies included these Titans in the wrong mix. If you have like 6 Titans in your army and your opponent is just using ranged units, for instance, you're just going to crush them. So I think if I was playing Volters, I'd probably want mostly ranged units and a couple of Titans to hold the ground. Maybe some cavalry units if I felt the cavalry was adding something relevant to my army. I guess I want more Hyperion. Adamantium and Palladium is actually reasonably expensive, so I guess Hyperion is the best way for us to build up extra forces in our main city. Although building up extra forces actually would delay our wonder victory. Well, we can pull it ahead if we think we're in danger, so it's good to have those in reserve. Yeah, so their army, what they could have done at some point is try to outflank me. You know, if I would have gone in this direction, they could have just sent an army here to try and capture my main city. No matter how much better I am, if they just capture my only city, they could have beaten me that way, I guess. Well, something to think about. Like, if I was playing against the Cult, I would try and probably flank them like that. Get a tactical value. And if I was playing again, and I was worried about that kind of thing, I would definitely try to mitigate the risk of that, perhaps by keeping scouts positioned in adjacent territory, so I always have a warning or buffer zone. Let me first pick up everything here. Why not? I might as well get the full influence triangle here. Or square. That's a square. I don't know why I say triangle. I actually have a maths degree, which is kind of the sad part there. Although I'm not doing maths right now. Where's our hero? Oh no, this is a side army. Okay, we want to move this one to the side. We want to make sure we snipe this character because it's really close to us. This is kind of cramped terrain, makes me feel kind of uncomfortable about the prospects. Yeah, that's our prospects in this fight. We could definitely try and target that one. And that one. Really, the archer units are things we're most afraid of. They're likely to deal damage, firstly. Secondly, they're more likely to deal... Or not... What's the word? They're likely to deal damage, and secondly, they can shoot over other units. So if we can take them out quickly, it doesn't really matter if we can take a few hits from these slow Titans, as long as we can outmaneuver them the next turn. Yeah, so I guess this Nameless God will take some hits from the Titans, but at least then in the next turns we'll be able to move it back and really kite or I don't know what the name of the micro is, but you know, if anyone has ever seen StarCraft, like the thing they do with the Blink Stalkers, when they bounce it back, so kind of like making sure that your weakest unit is always the one not taking the damage. Okay. I want to move this in front, move this back here. Maybe I'll play some Into the Breach at some point in this trial. Let me know if that's what you want to see. And Into the Breach features like maneuvering, positioning-based gameplay, which I can actually do properly. That is very... Funnily enough, I really liked Into the Breach, but I somehow never really enjoyed the earlier game by those developers, FTL. I found that like game tedious and like frustrating, and also like just too difficult for me. But also like difficulty not like clearly I don't have an issue with difficult games, but like difficulty in a way in a game in a way where I can never really gain purchase on it. You know, somehow I was able to overcome some of my difficulties with Endless Legend eventually, and Endless Space as well. I mean, it's really normal to suck in the game at the start, but I don't know. Some games you just give up, and some games you force yourself through. So yeah, looks like we've crushed that army, and I think the city is vulnerable. Well, it's not that vulnerable. We can just wait a couple of turns, wait for siege damage to sort of slowly asphyxiate their defenses. Oof. Playing the cultists that made me a real asshole. Like, we really don't need the science. Like, I don't have to boost this. It's not doing anything for us. In 5 turns, we're going to win anyway. Like, or we're going to lose in 5 turns. It's really important that we just crush their cities, or as many cities as we can of dark blues, because each city they have could contribute to them winning the scientific victory turn soon or something. We don't know this, but no, don't call me. Don't call me. No, I want to be friends. I want to be friends. Right. We're level 3 here. We can just decrease science production with this hero, which is great. I think. Yes, we're not noticed. Next time we can do the same thing again. And now we want to force. We definitely want. Come on, just make an alliance, please. I'm begging you. They often tend to like sciences. Actually, did I want that alliance? Can I win on my own? Sorry. We're close to winning with a wonder victory, I think. I think we can win on our own. I don't think we have to win with our alliance together. I don't know how this works in this game, actually. I thought we could win. We can just leave our alliance if it looks like we're going to win immediately, so... Okay, we're not going to do that. Nobody cares about that garbage. Wait, this battle starts. I think let's do that first. Yeah. This game would be a lot harder if we had to worry about losing battles, but we don't, so it wasn't. That station was good. When we don't, so we won't. Alright. Let's just make sure we target everything down. Yeah. Yeah, and then we can just move this to the side again. Like, move it. You move and you control click, by the way. It's in the tutorial, but I don't know that for a while. Not sure whether that says something about me on the tutorial, to be honest. Yeah, just because we have all of these things giving us bonus attack, the hero bonus, the item, the empire plan, we're really doing really well in these engagements. Like, you can almost alter them at this point, actually. It doesn't actually matter how badly we win. Well, it might matter. If we take the city a turn later, for instance, because we miscontrolled, and they win the science victory because of that, it's not likely, but it could happen. And if it does, I've lost the game out of carelessness, which I would have won otherwise. To be fair, I made plenty of careless mistakes this game. But somehow I stumbled upon the correct strategy, and here we are. Really close to winning the game. Somehow, in Endless Legend, well, at least with the factions that are able to do it, like, you're always going to struggle very hard in the early game, because that's where the AI having extra resources is really going to hurt you the most. But if you survive long enough, you can normally find a way to exploit your superior knowledge or abilities as a human being to defeat it. Although I wonder what they would get if they made something like OpenAI or play Endless Legend or Endless Space. Like there's definitely technology available to make a way better AI. I wonder if, although it is a question of whether AI is really valuable from a gameplay perspective. Like if Dota players had to play against the AI that can always beat them in laning, then I don't know if Dota would be much fun. Or like in chess, if human players played against like a chess computer, they'd always lose. So like, that's the point. But I guess there's a lot we could learn from the perfect player or near perfect player. Basically, battles are so formulaic and boring at this point, or like we've done this so many times. Stop philosophizing about computer AIs and yeah. It would be cool though. I wonder if they could use those advances in AI technology to help game developers make better artificial intelligences, which are actually or behave like intelligent people or are intelligent. That would definitely be interesting. It would definitely be interesting if I was trying to if we were trying to optimize gameplay in these games. For some reason, because we're trying to not have fun or something. Yeah. And yeah, I think we're still doing really well. I don't feel like target firing because the difference that's made by micromanaging at this point is probably really low. Attack success odds pretty good. 97 is pretty obscene, actually. Yeah. I actually feel way more confident that we're going to win now. I think Dark Blue might have won before us if we hadn't been so active, but just putting the pressure on them has really paid off. Kind of funny, the thing about playing the Cultists is that everything felt sort of fair. Like, I never felt like we were crushing the game, because having one city is a huge downside. Actually, let me see. What can I get on this hero? There's not much else to get to improve our heroes or units. Now, negative effects from winter might be valuable for armies, though, so... let's just order this, it should be easy. And we've taken their capital. Excellent. If we weren't getting the Wonder Victory already, we could go down, attack Red's capital, and win like that. I believe if you have all capitals, you win the game. Or no, maybe that is for Endless Space too. Yeah. Let's just look at the victory screen. Elimination. Why are we only on one? Oh, elimination is how many Supremacy is having all the capitals. So these players still have one capital, though we've crushed their capital, so we should have all the capitals now. Yeah, and in 4 turns we get the Temple of the Earth's Core, and we get a victory that way. I really like these boring victory conditions. Mostly because I want the victory to be really swift and painless. I don't want to sit there and capture every single city in the whole map. It's always a pain in the ass to do that. It looks like somebody set all these villages on fire, or watchtowers on fire. Okay, so it's just letting us know that they have to get one more capital to get victory. Yeah. And we can get some extra research. We're never getting Endless mechanisms. No, no. Just give me something good, dumbasses. I'm crushing you. Okay, I guess I might as well get a port for laws now. I don't really care. Alright. I guess we should have Titan Burns active. Let's find it over here. I guess we can also get a Dust Orchid. Dust Orchids are really good, by the way. They just improve your everything. Which is a nice way of summing it up. So in 3 turns we're going to crush this game. This should be easy. Yeah, and it was. Huh? We didn't destroy the city? Interesting. Alright, this army is setting those things on fire. Good that we have an army at home. And we're even going to win during a dust eclipse. That's nice. Alright. I feel like we should probably activate our spies now again. Just to make sure they don't randomly win at this point of the game. Captured spy, don't care. Injured spy, we also don't care. Now, sorry about the door banging. Bear with for another 2 turns. Another 1 turn. Deep Maw? What does that mean? Does that mean somebody's been captured? Okay, let me just end the turn now. And in 1 turn, we're going to get a wonder victory. Just as long as this fight happens. Cool. Nothing much happened there. We're still secure in our city. We've picked up the wonder building, so we should be winning right now. Any moment now. And yeah, we just made it. I don't know why it gives me these other, like... Okay, fine. And we won with our ally there, which is cool, I guess. I could have... Alright, obviously it would have been really easy to win on our own by just leaving the alliance. But yeah, that was fine. So, basically we just won with the Cultists, which was great. I expected this to be like a challenge run and that I thought I would be heavily unfavored against the AI from my experiences with the Cultists in the early game, which is very bad. But it turns out that our armies were just good enough to carry us through. We had that losing war against Green, but we managed to turn it around using these powerful archer units, the Nameless Guard, or in this case the Queen's Guard, my 2nd generation unit. And so let's just give you a quick recap. What were the most important parts of that game? So the most important part was watching me make a bunch of terrible military blunders, which almost cost me the game in multiple stages. But the first thing to notice is that converting villages really wasn't that impactful or that important, and these bonus units you get from them are like, alright, but the dust cost is kind of significant. And early on at least we don't want to really convert them. I guess in later games I could have used these as like... And in future games I'll try and incorporate these into my armies as kind of like shock troops. Or units to just make sure the ground is gummed up so my archers can do their thing. But basically, at least for the early game, conversion is definitely a trap. So I would recommend against that. What I would recommend doing is building up a powerful army consisting of these Nameless Guards and these tier 2 upgrades. Because at some point you have to start pushing, and once you do, because you're on one base, you can't not push. You have to attack someone at some point. Although this time we were attacked by the AI, and we were, at least it felt to me like fighting a desperate fight for life. It was probably a bit better than that. But with the Cultists, we can pick up this destructive analysis perk, science. And once we have an army and we destroy one city, we're going to get science and industry stockpiles equal to the number of workers on that city. And with that, you can very quickly snowball. And what we can do with those is we can build up a powerful science stockpile economy using unskilled labor, but more importantly, disorganized labor. And that will make all of our science and industry stockpiles that we get for free not for free, we get by destroying cities, they'll get significant bonuses, be much more powerful, and that will carry our industry and science through to the 5th era. This is not enough to get us a science victory. We have to win somewhere else. And this time we chose the Temple of the Earth's Core Wonder Victory. All the while putting pressure on other empires. We attacked dark blue, because it looked like they were closer to winning than us in terms of science victory. We would have maybe, and we formed alliance with red. Would have maybe done the other way around if red was winning or something. But basically the strategy is the same at this point. But basically has to carry us through is that we can really exploit these archer armies, and we really did that. So that's what I learned from this playthrough, basically. First thing, excuse me, I have a cough. First thing we have to do is make sure that these minor factions, that we don't convert too many villages. It's too much of a dust suck early in the game. We have to do it for the quest, the faction quest, but I recommend not converting villages. As you saw from the achievement, this is my first one with the cultists. Really ecstatic about that. We're going to leave these villages alone. Secondly, we're going to make sure we play quite defensively, just working on improving our city, picking up this village in our city as well. And once we've done that, at some point we can build up this 6 Nameless Guard army, which is so potent. And once we have that army, we can start winning whatever war we're already fighting, or declaring war, and start getting our stockpile economy running with unskilled labor, organized labor. And then the stockpile economy, together with the marketplace, to pick up all the strategics we need, because we can never get strategics any decent way if we don't have it in our starting region. And even picking it up by converting villages is just not efficient enough. Like getting like 0.2 of this resource a turn is disastrously bad. So the main thing is stay away from the conversion mechanic. It sucks. At least until late in the game, we can make use of the extra armies as cannon fodder for your main army, although we didn't have to do that in this round. Get these army units, upgrade them with the special trinket, which improves the special trinket you get for the quest, the Order of Isilver. It's really amazing. And build up your stockpile economy like this. Pick these things up. And once you have the stockpile economy rolling with a powerful army with Mithrite or Adamantium or Palladium or Hyperium, we should be able to beat any other army. And so that's the way it panned out. It turns out that getting Wonder Victory is also a pretty good way to close out the game for us, because we have a ton of industry in our main city, but definitely not enough science to get a science victory. Wonder Victory definitely seems a lot easier than other victory types, at least for us. So thanks again for joining me with this playthrough of the Cultists of the Eternal End on Endless difficulty. We have this 32, this wonderful city at the end of our playthrough, and these incredible armies rolling across Origa, which really carried us. I personally, I feel like this is, excuse me, I feel like this was a wonderful journey, because I came in very pessimistic. I expected not to do well with this faction, and I was really blown off my feet and surprised by how well I could do when I felt my way through the game and found the right strategy after some initial setbacks and some crisis moments early in the game. So I really hope you enjoy that, and in this session we've recapped the right strategy, I think, for playing the Cultists in the future. I might do try and do a kind of guide video where I do this strategy properly at some point. Mostly because I really like the Cultists now. But we'll leave that for now. The next series I'm going to do is about the Unfallen and Endless Space 2. So tune in for that. All the best. I hope you enjoyed and had fun, and I'll catch you next time.